Shabbat Shalom. Ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la ya la la ya la ya la la ya la la ya la la ya la la. Continue on page 10. Matov, how good it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together on this, the last Shabbat of the summer. Nemato umanayim, inemato umanayim, sheberachim gam yachad, sheberachim gam yachad, inemato umanayim, inemato umanayim, sheberachim matov matov, sheberachim gam yachad inemato umanayim, inemato umanayim, sheberachim gam yachad, inemato umanayim, inemato umanayim, sheberachim matov matov, sheberachim gam yachad, sheberachim gam yachad, sheberachim gam yachad, gam yachad, gam yachad. Back on page 2 for the lighting of the Shabbat candles. Shadu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you both. Before we welcome the Sabbath Queen, let's welcome each other. So take a couple of minutes to say hello to someone that's at least on your side of the building. Okay, so we're on page 20. Please rise. We're going to sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 of Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu elam yuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, L'shem multiferet v'lichila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat nechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nisucha, sof ma'aseh b'mashavatila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orech, kumi uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai laich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'sahala, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. And we're continuing on page 24 with our greeting for the ministering angels.
Shalom Aleichem Malachi Sharet Malachi Elyon Mimelech Malchi Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem Malachi Sharet Malachi Elyon Mimelech Malchi Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay Olam Aleichem Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Lachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Amlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Amlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malachi Lakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Lachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon Mi Melech Malchi Lachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 27. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We're on the facing page, page 26, please rise. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yibrachute, v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala, ba'gala, uv'isman kariv, v'meru amen, yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam olam eomaya, yitzbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yiroman, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei lekudesha berichu, leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran v'yalma v'meru, amen. Page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time, and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Aravi. Continue on page 32. God's love for us. Avat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochmeinu ufkumeinu, Nasiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'v'mitzvotecha, Le'olam va'ed. Ki hein chayenu be'orech yameinu, uvahem negeh yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. V'yavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Either seated or standing, as is your custom. Shema is on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem Yivot Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Continues on 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha b'derech u'shokbecha uvkumecha ushartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha Utaftam amizuzot beitecha uvish'arecha leman tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim leloechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. May be seated. We're on page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. The next page. Continue on page 42 with our evening prayer, asking God to give us a decent night's rest.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu malkeinu v'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom ve'aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim shalom, ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. And then on page 44, you know the clap. Yismechu b'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadashei shevi Shabbat. Kulam yesba'u v'yitango b'tuvecha Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi Ratzita bo ktidashto Shabbat Hemdat yamim oto korata Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher lemase bereshit Shabbat. Zecher lemase bereshit Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat.
I wish I caught his musicality a little bit better, actually. We come to the central point of our service. Tefillah begins on page 46. Please rise. page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadcha v'yirah na'avod. On the next page. Modim anachnu lach she'ata hu modim anachnu lach Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu le'olam le'olam va'ed modim anachnu lach she'ata hu modim anachnu lach Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu le'olam le'olam va'ed. On page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo, shalom v'shalom. We'll take a few minutes now for private thoughts, meditation, and prayers. When you're finished, you may be seated. Yilratzonim refi Yilratzonim refi Vegion libi lifanecha Adonai tzuri v'lo ali. Oh, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be
acceptable before you. O God, my rock and my redeemer. O says Shalom Bimroma. Huya says Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imeru. Ve'imeru. Amen. And now we'll hear from Fred.
This is a privilege. The setting of this week's Sidra is Moses speaking to the Jews about entering in Canaan, or Canaan, however you want to pronounce it, after wandering the desert for 40 years and reminding them of God's words, promises, and admonitions. The section starts with the words, quote, "See, this day I set before you blessing and curse. Blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, and curse if you do not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn away from the paths which I enjoin upon you this day and follow other gods whom you have not experienced." We are then told that these blessings and curses should be pronounced on two mountaintops on the other side of the Jordan River after the Jews have entered. You shall pronounce the blessing at Mount Gerizim and the curse at Mount Ebal. Now, what's so different about these two mountains that they should be chosen for this ritual? And more so, why two mountains? Why not just pronounce both the blessing and the curse from the same mountain? I would suggest that it's not the fact of the particular mountains that make the difference, but it is the unspoken idea that there are indeed two paths in life that we can walk along, and they lead us to two different places. Many years ago, I went camping with my oldest daughter, Brianne, in the White Mountains in New Hampshire. We had a tradition, which I had started when she was only 3, of she and I going camping somewhere together without her mother or sister. Just a weekend in which she and I could be alone together. Anyway, this particular afternoon, we were hiking up to a mountaintop hut destination, and we were on a well-traveled but poorly marked trail, which zigzagged up a gully in between our destination and an adjacent mountain. Now, of course, as you know, most of the time when you're hiking up a mountain, you can't see the top of the mountain, but you merely get there by following a specific trail, which oftentimes crosses other trails leading to other destinations. After a while, through some thick woods, I knew we had not only gotten off the trail, but we were not on any trail at all. And I began saying so out loud. Brianne asked me if we were lost. And I told her quite honestly, no, we were not lost, we were just off the trail. We knew that we were on one side of a stream which led most of the way up the gully, and that if we crossed the stream to the other side and just followed along, we would be fine, trail or no trail. I also told her that even if we ended up partly up the other mountain, which was not our destination, and we got to the top, we would be able to see clearly enough to know that we were on the wrong mountain, and there would still be enough daylight to backtrack and get to our mountain. It's a parable of life. Every day we are presented with choices of all sorts of trails to travel on, if you will, which lead to two different mountains. Do we help a homeless person asking for money on the corner? Do we treat a subordinate who has done a poor job with the desire to understand why before we judge? Or do we jump in and treat him or her harshly? Do we display the infinite patience needed to be a good and loving parent? Or do we indulge our egocentrism and get angry with our children just for being children? Do we deal openly with our co-workers, friends, and neighbors? Or do we have hidden agendas? Do we greet our spouses at the end of the day with a concern for what their day has been like? And do we thank God each day just for the blessing of being alive? In short, we are presented each day with the choice to be moral and good, to be religious in a way, to walk up Mount Gerizim to blessing, or to walk up Mount Ebal to curse. And even though we cannot see the mountaintop while we were on the trail, and as we cross other trails, we can know that we are not lost, but in fact on the correct side of the stream, and we can each make our own trail up to the top. The trouble is that many of us, myself included, do not see those choices on a day-to-day basis, moment by moment. To borrow a phrase from a beloved previous rabbi of mine, Rabbi Emily Lipoff of blessed memory, we don't take our religion with us each day and practice it. We make our decisions not by asking what is good and proper, but by thinking to ourselves, whether consciously or unconsciously, what can we get away with? How far can we go to serve ourselves and still manage to find excuses for our own shortcomings? Zbigniew Brzezinski, in his book entitled Out of Control, in which he discusses the decay of Western civilization and the challenges facing the U.S. in particular, puts it this way. He warns us, as does the Torah, to not be lured by our material successes and forget what lies behind them. These are his words, I quote, "A society in which self-gratification is the norm is also a society in which there are no longer any criteria for making moral judgments. One feels entitled to have what one wants, whether or not one is worthy. Thus, moral judgments become dispensable. There is no need to differentiate between right and wrong. Instead, for pragmatic reasons of social order, the critical distinction is between what is legal and what is illegal. The court system substitutes for morality and for the church as the principal definer of morality. Religion, as an internalized guide to individual conduct, is replaced by the legal system. This creates a condition in which more than just a few are tempted to test the limits of the permissible because no absolute inner moral restraint is operational." Boy, doesn't that describe today. Sorry. That's a lot of big words. Let me give you two examples. The first is a story, sad, very sad, but true. One Halloween, a mother made a rabbit costume for her little girl. The soft white fur of the rabbit was imitated by glued-on cotton balls all over the costume, and a tragedy happened. The girl with the costume on leaned over a lit stove, and the costume caught fire. The little girl was badly burned, but she survived. The family, in a frenzy of denial of responsibility, sued the manufacturer of the cotton balls for not placing a label on the package warning that they are highly flammable. And even more astonishing, the jury agreed and awarded large damages. A tragedy? Most assuredly, yes. But also a breakdown of moral responsibility for the paths our lives take, and a substitution of that morality with the legal system. The family, no doubt, never honestly asked themselves who is responsible, or if it is right that the manufacturer of the cotton balls should pay. But certainly they asked themselves if they would likely succeed in making the company pay. Another more lighthearted example. When Bill Clinton was asked during his election campaign whether or not he smoked marijuana at a party he attended long ago in England. Do you remember this, for those of you? He responded by saying that he puffed on the cigarette but didn't inhale, right? Now, we can believe or not believe his answer as each of us sees fit, but I think the real problem is not whether our ex-president smoked some marijuana as a youth at a time in history when probably half the population was doing so. I think the problem is with his concept of an answer. If I believe him, then why was he puffing in the first place if he intended not to inhale? Was he so pressured by his peers that he did not have the moral fortitude to just say no, as we would put it today? Or did he think it was morally justified to be present but not quite participate in an illegal activity by walking some imaginary courtroom line of technicality? Remember, in those days, marijuana was illegal, right? And for those of us who don't believe him, but who could care less whether he inhaled or not, does he think that he gained our respect, right, by lying to us in order to appear legally correct? It may not be punishable by a jail sentence to lie during an election campaign, but isn't it wrong? Didn't he, one way or another, ask each of us to substitute legal and illegal for right and wrong? And maybe this is one way to interpret God's admonition against following other gods. Legal right and wrong is not a proper substitute for moral right and wrong. In chapter 15 of the Sidra, the Torah instructs us to practice remission of debts, or Shemitah, as it is known. Every 7th year, we are to forgive any outstanding debts from our neighbors and kinsmen. That is to be the law. Not 7 years from the start of a loan, but the same 7-year cycle for everyone. The priests would keep count, and when the 7th year came, you must remit whatever is due you from your kinsmen. This is a quote. For the remission proclaimed is of the Lord. But God or Moses or whoever wrote Deuteronomy is ever wary and not unwise in the area of human weakness. In verse 9, we're warned, beware lest you harbor the base thought, the 7th year, the year of remission, is approaching, so that you are mean to your needy kinsman and give him nothing. He will cry out to the Lord. This is the quote from the Torah. He will cry out to the Lord against you, and you will incur guilt. In other words, in year 6, when you know that in all likelihood you'll never get repaid if you make a loan, because the next year the loan will be expunged, you must make the loan anyway. The Torah is telling us, do not do just the precise legally allowed action. Do what is morally right and help someone who needs help. Then, in verse 11, is a very interesting phrase. At the end of the instruction on the remission of debts, it reads, for there will never cease to be needy ones on your land, which is why I command you, open your hand to the poor and needy kinsmen in your land. 7 verses earlier, right, the Torah says, there shall be no needy among you, since the Lord your God will bless you in the land which God is giving you, if only you take care to keep all of the instruction that I enjoin upon you today. Now, how can we understand this obvious contradiction? In one verse, it says there will always be needy ones, and another verse, it says there will be no needy ones if you follow all the instructions. I think we are gently but firmly being challenged to do the laws of the Torah, not so much in their explicit form, but rather in their more subtle, more generalized form, to follow all the instruction, not just the written instruction. The Torah isn't, after all, a legal doctrine, it's a moral doctrine. It's a guide to righteous behavior, to making the kind of day-to-day choices which will lead us up that path to Mount Gerizim, the mountain of blessing. As a member of this congregation, when I come to synagogue for services, I always come away uplifted. But also something else happens. I come away challenged to make the right choices, to travel the right path, to take my Judaism with me during the week and to do something good with it. And may that be true for all of us tonight. And let us say, Amen.
Our thoughts now turn to those in need of healing. We're on page 253. Remember with love and hopes for healing of body and spirit, Joyce Weiser, Claire Lichtenstein, Mick Brown, Carl Stahlnacher, Nora Gluck, Jane Siegel, Ellen Lowenberg, Steve and Sherry Harwitt, John Simonoff, Frank Remmert, Barbara Meyer, Carol Rudman, Jane Hochberg, Carlos Villarreal, Gary Polkowitz, Susan and Frank Cernansky, Jim Simmons, Catherine Werner, Adrian Gross, Sheila Stalder, Scott Lewis, Sophie Hochberg-Farrer, Ingrid Gustafson, Jerry Steinberg, Faggy Marks, James Hetherington, Sandra Levine, Martha Ramirez, Cindy Pabst, Ann Laser, Kathy Romero, Maria Romero, Marsha Landry, Carbon Rodriguez, Jerry Nuri Holm. Is there anybody else that you want to remember for healing? Just say your name out loud, please. The Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, President's announcements. Is there anybody here who's going to be reading them? Because I can do it. All right. I can sing them. Torah study is at 9 a.m., live and on Zoom. The link for Zoom is on our website, www.sbc.org. sftbs.org. The topic is Elul Reflections, a place of Torah study this Shabbat morning. We will discuss some of the Elul reflections that Rabbi Neil has shared online to help us in our journey through the month of Elul. Shabbat services will be at our regular time of 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. This Sunday, September 22nd at 4 p.m., the Israel Committee presents Israel and its indispensable University Technion, Israel University of Technology. Next Sunday, September 22nd at 10:30 a.m., Becoming a Holiday Maven, bagels and coffee provided. I think when it says next Sunday, I think that might be a week from Sunday, the 29th, not the 22nd. High holidays will be late this year. October 2nd is Erev Rosh Hashanah. All members in good standing were sent an email on September 9th or 10th to either print or download their tickets. If you would please check your emails, they come from programs at SFTBS. If you didn't receive an email, it means that we haven't received your commitment form for 2024-2025. To help make it easy for you, you can call the office, and we can fill in the form for you over the phone. If you have any questions or want to speak with Wendy Steinberg, our Executive Director, you can call her at 505-982-1376. If you need to purchase non-member tickets, you can call Faith at the Temple office. Remembrance Day event will take place on Sunday, October 6th at 1:30 p.m. in the Jewish section of Memorial Garden Cemetery, 417 Rodeo Road. In other words, the Sunday between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. The rabbis and cantors from Santa Fe's various synagogues will participate together, demonstrating the strength and vitality of our Santa Fe Jewish community. Continue now with Aleinu on page 283. Please rise. Please be seated. We're on 289. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision, or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love are we comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. And 295, we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. If I mention the name of a loved one for whom you are in mourning, please rise, and then at the end, if there is someone else who's not on the list that you are saying Kaddish for, please rise and say their name. This week we observe the Shloshim of Paul Siskin, Raymond Markman, Linda Goldfrey, Glenda Goldberg, Sarah Jane Miller Small, and the Ortsites of Dr. Gustav Bolig, Ruth Bone, Leon Cassett Sanchez, John Fry, Betty Horn, Arthur Henry Katz, Jacob Learn, Phil Levine, Jacob Nebraski, Herbert Norwick, Richard Glenn Schifrin, Jacob Wexler, Susan Wright, and Mark Zapling. Is somebody else for whom you're saying Kaddish, please stand up. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. Will all the congregation please rise and support the mourners on page 294. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah. Bialma divra chirute, viamlich malchute. V'chayechon v'yomechon, chaye l'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'isman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mivorach, le'olam u'almei almaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, Shemei d'kutsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen.
Zikronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. Please be seated. We'll reach the end of our service with what I like to call Fred's Adonai. Page 321. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa B'chetzo Kol, Azai Melech Shimon Nikra, V'acharei Yichlod HaKol, Levado Yimlot Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yiyeh B'tifara. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa B'chetzo Kol. Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa V'chetzo Kol. Adon Olam. Vehu Echad, Ve'en Sheni, Ve'hamshilo, Ve'achbira, Ve'li Reshit, Ve'li Taklit, Ve'lo Ha'oz, Ve'hamisra, Ve'hu Eli, Ve'chai Goali, Ve'tzur Chevli, Ve'etzara, Ve'hu Nisi, Umanosli, Minat Kosi, Be'yom Ekra, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Me'et Nasa, Be'hefto Kol, Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Me'et Nasa, Be'hefto Kol, Adon Olam. Biyado, Avkid Ruchi, Ve'elishan, Ve'ayira, Ve'im Ruchi, Giviati, Adonai Li, Ve'lo Ira. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Me'et Nasa, Be'hefto Kol, Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Me'et Nasa, Be'hefto Kol, Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Adon Olam. Please rise. Yivarcheinu Adonai, V'yishmereinu. May God bless us and keep us. Ya'er Adonai panav eleinu v'chuneinu. May God's face shine upon us and be gracious to us. Yisa Adonai panav eleinu v'yasem lanu shalom. May God lift up the divine presence toward us and always grant us peace. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Please join in the Kiddush on page 4. Vayhi Erev, Vayhi Boker, Yom HaShishi, Vayichulu HaShamayim V'Aaretz V'chol Tzibam, Vayichal Elohim B'Yom HaShvi'i Melachto Asher Asa, Vayishbot B'Yom HaShvi'i Mikol Melachto Asher Asa, Vayivarech Elohim Et Yom HaShvi'i V'Kadesho Oto, Ki Bo Shabbat Mikol Melachto Asher Bara Elohim La'asot. Savri Rabotai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah le'mikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha v'hava uvratzon inhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.